and I will just go crazy with taking all of these supplements, and I would generally end up feeling really sick.
Hey, I'm Trav. Back in 2010, I got hit hard with chronic fatigue syndrome, only 6 months after starting my new personal training business. I've spent the last 8 years researching and experimenting with my body to help get back to my best and beyond. I'm now sharing my story and my strategies with you so you can get back to living the life you love.
Hey, Trav here, holistic health and lifestyle coach, helping you make your comeback. Now, today, I am talking about how to decrease fungus and parasites in your body. Now, this is really important because these fungus and parasites, while they are a part of our system, and they're generally in everybody, they are a symbiotic organism that does help us as we help them. But when they get out of control, they can steal your food, zap your energy, create toxins that are going to slow you down and increase pain, and they can even make you crave all sorts of bad foods. I know this firsthand. I have lived it, and I will admit I have eaten ice cream for breakfast on more than one occasion. Now, I am a healthy or healthy-ish personal trainer who should definitely know better, but I was so out of control that my cravings were just like, no, you need to go and you need to eat this. I couldn't have food in the house that was junk food. I would just eat it straight away. All right? A lot of these things feed off sugar, straight away to the sugar. All right? Now, really important with this video, listen all the way to the end, because once we get to the end, I'm going to address one of the things which is vital to your recovery in this process, okay? If you skip it, it could create far more pain than is absolutely necessary, and I know this because I experienced a lot of this pain while I was going through the process. So, here are 5 ways we can decrease fungus and parasites in your body and get you feeling a whole lot better. Now, number 1, build a healthy foundation. That is really the most important starting point. So, healthy foundation, I mean quality air, quality water, quality food. All right? Air, fresh air. Ideally, windows open, spending more time outside. Hopefully you don't live in a city where it's completely smoggy or polluted. Hopefully you're not in an area where there is construction or there are a smell of toxins or something coming through your house, because that really could be disrupting things, and just that one thing could be enough that's weighing you down. So, quality air is really important. Same with water. Now, our body's made up predominantly of water, so you really need to make sure that the water that you are taking in is good, clean water, rather than just your basic tap water. I know some people argue that tap water is okay, better, whatever, but frankly, there's stuff added into tap water that could potentially be slowing your system down, adding to that toxic load, and we really don't want that. So get a good quality water filter or buy quality spring water. That's really an important part of your recovery. It really needs to be done to set that foundation up. And food, we get to food. All right, a quality diet, just even a basic balanced diet of good vegetables, maybe some fruit, but not too much. Quality proteins, whether it's animal protein or vegetable protein, I really don't mind, but higher quality is going to be better. I've spoken about this before with your meats, ideally organic, if not grass-fed, is going to be far better than whatever else you can get hold of. The commercially produced stuff can be fed really poor quality feed, and that feed you can take on into your system, or whatever the bad stuff is from eating that meat, you can intake that into your body and contribute to making you feel worse. So, yeah, meat, ideally organic. Wild caught fish is a really good one as well. Eggs, you want them to be free range, preferably organic. And what else? With your fruit and vegetables, ideally you want to get organic, but organic can be very expensive if you are buying all the way across the board and you just go, right, only organic food, no other food. That gets really expensive. So I recommend looking at the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists. Just Google Dirty Dozen Foods and you'll find there is a company that does a review each year of the foods that are highest and lowest in pesticides, and you just use that as a guide for buying organic fruits and vegetables and being able to buy non-organic fruits and vegetables. Or just, I guess the other side of it is maybe So stuff like tomatoes and capsicums seem to be on the dirty dozen list all the time, as in highest levels of concentration of pesticides or what have you. So one of the things that I do now is I don't eat very much of them. And they used to be my favourite foods, my favourite fruit, vegetable, whatever. I would be having them every single day. Now it's rare for me to have them because the organic ones are expensive. They're not always in season or easy to find, and I don't want to be bringing more toxins into my body knowing that they're going to be doing more harm than good. So that's your basics for building a foundation. Okay? Good quality air, good quality water, good quality food. Move on to number 2. You want to try and starve the bugs. Now the bugs eat sugar. They feed off sugar. Now they may feed off other things too, but sugar is really your biggest one. So you want to decrease sugar as much as possible. So go through your diet and look for wherever there is sugar or in excess and try and just drop that back. Even if you're dropping it back a little bit, that's a good start. Now, the other thing that can be problematic is starch. So some people are far more sensitive to this than others, but starch such as bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, sweet potatoes, all those sorts of things can be really nasty. Now there are some people who can get away with sweet potato and potato on the occasional basis without it causing too much of an issue. There are some people that can get away with gluten-free grains. I know this is kind of important when you are a vegetarian and you're not eating meat. You've got to get your nutrition from somewhere. So gluten-free grains would be the way to go. The gluten-containing grains you want to stay away from. But even if you are going to eat some of that, it might be wise to be able to try to decrease how much of that starchy carbohydrate you're taking into your diet and maybe increase the fat, increase the protein. Now, this is why the ketogenic diet's been so popular in the last little while, because using fat as a fuel source, it might do better for your body and it might not. Now there's a lot of debate about this, and a lot of people will say, hey, you know, you're saying to take this out, but somebody else is saying to do this way. Look, I have done it the way of just eating meat and vegetables and fat, and I felt great, and it really seemed to work when I did it that way. I have done it other ways as well, and it might be okay, but it might not be okay. So I know that there is a proven method that works like that, just going meat, vegetables, fat. Really did a good job for me, so through experience, I know that way works. So starving the bugs is really important. If you're unsure of which way to go, just get onto Google, do some research for yourself, or work with your naturopath to find out what they have to say. And at the end of the day, you're going to be working with their system probably. So let's go to number 3. Heal the digestive lining. So this is like seal your leaky gut. Okay, I've spoken about this before. I'm going to speak about it again. You've got to try and heal that digestive lining up, because if you're killing off any of these bugs, they can create these holes in the wall, in the lining of your digestive system, because they latch on. You know, the parasites, they have this hook mouth thing that latch onto there. So when they die off, can rip the insides out there and leave nasty scarring up through the middle. So you're going to have some foods or, you know, supplementation or whatever it is to be able to heal that lining and allow that to repair. So then you can start to digest food better again. And then in the better state that this digestive system is in, then the less likelihood that these things are going to get out of control in the future. Okay? Very important. If you haven't seen my video on leaky gut, you can go and look for that. Number 4, you can use supplements to kill off the bugs. Now, there are so many different supplements that are around that will do the job of killing off some of these bugs. Now, just a few of them to touch really briefly. Oregano oil is one, or oregano, as us Aussies will often say. What else? You've got spices like cinnamon, chili, turmeric, paprika, what's that other really hot one? Cayenne pepper. Oh yeah, that's crazy. That'll get in there and do some work. But look, not everything's going to suit some people. There are going to be some people who have a leaky gut issue or possibly a food sensitivity to nightshade vegetables, and if that's the case, paprika, chili, cayenne pepper all fall into that same family, and that might be doing you more harm than good. There are all sorts of different things, as I've mentioned. Again, you can go onto Google and have a look, but the main thing is to just pick one, see how it goes in your system, see how it feels, see if it's doing the job. And again, this isn't going to work if you are eating junk food and still feeding the bugs, because you kill some off and then you just feed them again and they multiply. You're not going to get anywhere. So get the foundation right, try and starve them, make sure you've got that digestive lining, healing process going on, sealing up that leaky gut, and then take some supplements, but go slowly taking them. Alright, in the past I've looked at protocols and I'm like, right, I'm all in, and I will just go crazy with taking all of these supplements, and I would generally end up feeling really sick. Sometimes be migraines, in enormous amounts of pain, in bed for days, can't move, can't function, don't want to talk to anyone, just can't do anything. It's because I took too much too soon, and it just had a crazy effect on the body. And when you kill these things off, again, they release toxins, there's die-off into your system, and all of a sudden, you're paralyzed from this toxic overload. Which leads us to number 5, combat the die-off. This is absolutely paramount if you're going to go into this process, because you don't know how much of an impact one supplement is going to have on you. You might have a tiny dosage and all of a sudden it knocks you flat. I know, I've done this before. One supplement, and one thing I took when I was first sick, and it left me sick for a day and a half. Migraine, day and a half. I'm like, that seems really weird. And as soon as I felt better, I took it again. Bang! Absolutely knocked flat. Couple of days. Couldn't do anything again. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It's part of my protocol. I'm like, why is this doing this? I'll try it again so I can stick to my protocol. Bang! Knocked flat. Eventually spoke to the doctor I was working with at the time. I was like, look, it's having that effect. Cut it out. And you've got to remember that. You don't absolutely have to stick to that protocol, because that supplement or that particular way may not be right for you right now. It might be in a month's time or a year's time or whatever, but it might not be right now. It might be too strong. It might be just doing too much and creating too much of this die-off reaction. So to combat die-off, you want to get more greens in there. Green leafy vegetables, green juices, green powders, maybe green smoothies. You can use supplements such as binders, activated charcoal, zeolite, bentonite clay, that sort of thing. You can use, what else? Saunas to pull toxins out of your body that way as well. You can use enemas. You can use other supplements to just combat this die-off reaction. Help your liver out. But the main thing is, as I spoke about in the one before that, just go slowly with your treatment. If the treatment protocol says you need to have 4 of these capsules a day and you have 1 of these capsules, and that's enough to knock your energy down by 10, 20, 30%, don't go any further than that. Maybe even look at, can I possibly use half of this capsule? Can you break it open? Can you just put it in with some food or something? Eat that. And can you operate at a better capacity? Look, if it's killing something off and you're getting some sort of a reaction, that's okay, but you still have a life. You still need to be able to keep up with it. You want to be able to maintain some level of energy without being knocked around so much, so you can maintain that healthy foundation of fresh air, good quality water, good quality food. If you're too tired to eat well, you're going to go back to feeding the bugs again. You're going to go back to aggravating the digestive lining and making things worse, and then this whole process doesn't work. So don't skip a step. I know I've spoken about 5 ways, but all these 5 ways work together. And you kind of need to make sure you're doing all of those things at the same time. And it's kind of complex. So that's why it's always best to work with a professional, whether it's a naturopath or you're working with somebody like me who's got an eye on things and can give you feedback along the way to, say, hey, maybe don't go so far with this. Maybe try this one instead of this one. Maybe do this. Hey, are you remembering to take your supplements to clean up the lining of the digestive system? Have you been trying, you've been trying this protocol for, combating the die-off, cleaning up your liver. Let's add this one in and see if that makes a difference as well. see if it lifts your energy, takes the pain away, and makes you feel better while you're going through this process. Alright, look, if you're going to do this over the next 1 to 3 months, and that's kind of the time frame that a lot of these things work with, then you're going to notice a difference. You'll notice a difference. Now, the hard part is, with any of these processes, you often feel worse before you feel better. Okay? Now, this is hard for a lot of people to take, and it really turns people off from doing the process. But if you can get in there and do it, at least for a set amount of time, even if it's a short time, even if it's just a month, then you're going to notice a difference on the other side. But I'm going to stress this again, and I've messed this one up many times. Look, if you are starving the bugs and you're doing all the right things and you do this for a month and your energy starts to taper off a little bit by the end, that means your self-discipline starts to taper off and you start to think, oh look, I'm going to finish this in a month and I'm just going to go straight to eating some junk food. I'm going to go right into my favourite foods and I just really want to be able to get that and make me feel better. Problem is, you're setting yourself back. You're almost moving yourself back to the start. Now, it's not quite that extreme, but it can certainly feel like it, because if one cheat meal turns into one cheat day, which turns into a few cheat days, which turns into a week, a month, or whatever, you kind of haven't achieved anything. So you've really got to try and be as disciplined as you can throughout this process to have a strategy at the end where you go, all right, well, I know that I could possibly be feeling worse at the end of this, so I want to just make sure I've got a whole lot of food prepped in advance so I don't have to think about it. I don't have to leave the house. I can just go to the fridge, pull this out, eat it. I feel okay, that's enough for me. I'm good to go, and just let everything settle that way. So you can actually experience the lift on the other side of it. Yes, you might feel like it tapers down a little bit, but there's certainly a jump. Every time I've gone through this process, I've gone through a jump in my energy, and I have felt better and my pain has decreased. Alright, and that's really what it's all about. This can be a very, very, very tricky process. It is something that I have attempted many, many, many times. And my approach right now, compared to what it was even 3 years ago, is vastly different because of so many complexities within the actual process. So if you're going to attempt this, really important to work with somebody who understands it and can give you feedback along the way, because you're really going to have to tweak and adjust as you go. But like I said, do this for 1 to 3 months and the lift you're going to get on the other side is absolutely worth it. So have a look into it, see if it's right for you, and when you're ready, get started. If you like this and you want more tips like this, you can grab your free cheat sheet from conquerchronicfatigue.com. The link is in the description. You will get answers to the most common questions that I have been asked on how to recover from chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. Now, this took me years to put together. Tons of research, over $150,000 spent in my own recovery and research courses, all sorts of things to find the answers to these questions. I'm going to give them to you for free because I want to help you get back to your best. So, go make your comeback and we'll talk again soon.